Do you know where the mullein is?
Mullein?
Yeah. Or anyone else want to jump in?
Is it right here?
No.
No.
It's okay. Anybody else want to?
It's the big one.
What? Go touch it.
This one.
That's the mullein. It's hard to tell at this stage. Over here is another one. I love it. I get so happy when I find it. So go ahead and take a leaf, and in fact, there's a few plants in here.
Soft.
It is so soft. I don't think I have notes on mullein. Pause. Yeah, there isn't that much sun, but I found that even if it's a teeny bit of a slope, it'll grow. I've never seen it growing just like flat. Yeah, probably just get morning sun. But so like at this stage, kind of looks like if you look in the center, it looks like a flower, but it gets this big tall spike. And I have been studying plants for so long, but I only just learned this last year. I couldn't believe I didn't know it. So you'll notice some of the mullein plants, when they flower, so they have the big spike, then they'll have like a couple different like spikes at the top with flowers. And I was told by another herbalist that means it's year of age, with however many of those spires. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because you'll only see that on like these massive ones, like they're so big and thick. So look for that.
Yellow flowers. So is that for?
Actually, the yellow flowers, they could be, but what we typically use them for is an oil for the ears.
Yeah.
It's hard to collect a lot of them, and I haven't looked at the price of mullein flowers recently, but it's
Just the flowers.
yeah, they're very
'Cause they're
small,
little, yeah.
and you need to collect a lot to get. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what the price is per pound of them. Now the leaf is pretty affordable because they get really big. But the flowers, I usually only collect about a cup's worth every year and make an infused oil. And then that oil is plenty for the whole winter for us,
Really?
for ear infection.
Oh.
And my kids have never had an ear infection. I've never given them antibiotics. They've never had any ear problems.
Yeah.
They've a couple times told me their ear hurts, and right away we use mullein oil, and you can put a drop in the ear. And but I don't like to put stuff in the ear, so I usually try first just taking the oil, and it works even better if you infuse garlic in with the mullein leaves and just rub like all around the ears, like around the lymph glands, even just like at the opening of the ear. I usually try that first, and honestly it's enough almost all the time. But that is a home remedy. If you want to avoid antibiotics for ear infection, everyone should have mullein oil and garlic oil infused. So this leaf, I would say, just to give you, I get excited when I find mullein, because mullein is not like, you're not going to get it at the greenhouse, and mostly, like I said, you see it growing along roads. I would use this mullein. It's right near this macadam, but it's not a road, and it's not getting road runoff. So when I find it in the woods, I'm like so excited, because you don't want to gather it along a road. And this herb is also so good for the lungs. and you can see the shape. Plants have what's called a doctrine of signatures, and if you look at them closely, this is how old-time herbalists partially figured out how to use the plant. They look like parts of the body that they help.
At one time you brought an oil for me when I couldn't stop coughing. I was coughing for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was lobelia.
It was lobelia.
Lobelia and mullein, or
I
just
don't remember
lobelia?
if I mixed the two for you. I might
That
have.
worked unbelievably quick.
So what I would say, I'm just going to pause. Do you want to grab one of those leaves for me? Okay, so this is Yarrow. Yarrow. Achillea millefolium. And it has these feathery leaves. It does look like a fern, and it will get beautiful white flowers. Our daughter is named after this plant. It's my favorite. So I was looking for some of my notes on Yarrow. I do know a lot, but I found in here, I forgot, someone sent me a poem about this plant, and so I'll share that with you. She wrote this. It says, "Little fingers wanted to pick, but mommy said no, I can't be sure. Let me learn with you, my child. Angelic blooms and feathery leaves growing on a small bridge. A family passes like any day, a mother watching my child. Fill up your cup with other things like daisies and mimosas. She is so naturally keen to queens, dainty with heart, my child. Fear not, it was not poison, but we will always remember holding hands and flowers for a vase in early June, my child." So they were trying to figure out this plant, and she thought it was so beautiful, which it is. Once it flowers, and I would say go home and look up, or you could look up on your phone right now, this plant. There are many cultivars of other shades, like yellow and pink, and I mean, I've even seen it growing at banks, like these other varieties, and the leaves are not feathery, they're like big and hardy, and they're a different shape, but they've been, I guess, bred with something else or modified to be that way. The natural or original plant is this one, and it's white, and it has the flower's white, has the most medicinal value, and it is considered like the queen of herbs. It does many things. It was the Latin Achillea is given to this plant because supposedly Achilles gave his soldiers or used this plant, the leaves on his soldiers, to stop wounds from bleeding. And it's a styptic, meaning if you take it and chew it up and you put this plant on a part of your body that's bleeding, it will stop the bleeding. If you have it dried into a powder, so let's say you go camping or something and you take along your herbal first aids, you can put, like, let's say a vial of powdered yarrow leaf, and someone gets cut, the powder will stop the bleeding. And I have experimented with that. Now, nothing big. I had a friend, she cut herself she stepped on a nail, unfortunately, and we used yarrow. It disinfects, and also it stopped the bleeding. I've had some cuts, kitchen cuts with knives. I've used yarrow to stop bleeding.
Coagulates it right away.
It does.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would work really good when you cut the dog's nails.
Yeah.
Oh, it probably
Probably
would.
would.
Yeah,
Mhm.
something's crawling back there. So this herb is also a hormone balancing herb, typically for women. It is an herb that I use all month long for myself. It will cause the body to sweat if you're sick, so it can be used for everybody. It's called diaphoretic. So if you have a fever is a way of the body naturally destroying whatever's, in the body. A hot fever can be deadly when your temperature gets too high. But there's something called a moist fever where you're drinking teas to bring on a sweat, and you're actually working with the body, and it will strengthen you in the long run. So yarrow tea when you're sick can make you sweat, break the fever better. I don't know if I should say this. Again, another like first aid plant for the summer, for hiking, camping, or even just gardening. You take the plant, you can make a spit poultice, which is you chew it up and you take that mushy pulp and you put it on any bug bite, sting, wasp, hornet, whatever. It takes the pain away, takes the swelling down. I guess I'm not, because this is going to get posted. It's not to replace your EpiPen if you are allergic, but if you are in pain, it's going to take away the pain from the sting.
Right.
So it's like the first thing I teach my kids, because if they're outside playing and they get stung, this is plantain. You chew it up and you put it on your bee sting.
I can vouch for that one because I get stung a lot and I am allergic. And I instantly find one. I get it, like she said, you chew it and get it juicy and just smear it all over. And I, like, 30 seconds at least, not even. It's the pain starts to go away.
It's like a topical anesthesia.
Yeah, and my one daughter wants to use the medicine, and one time I was at her house, and her little girl was crying and crying and crying, and I said, just get a piece of plantain and put it on toilet. She's suffering, and she said, because I wanted to know about medicine too. I said, okay, that's good too, but she knows about medicine, but she's in pain. Why don't you put it on her? It really does. I mean, they even said, and like Janelle said, don't forgo medicine or anything, but they even say, I find anyway.
And this herb is another one that I blend and I make ice cubes, and then if someone's stung or whatever, now you have this cool ice cube with the medicine, the herbal medicine, so it's really soothing.
Can you make a salve out of it?
Yeah, plantain salve.
But yeah, if you put even just you chew one leaf, and if it doesn't feel like it's enough, get another leaf. For bee, yeah.
If you want to make 2 salves this summer, I would do the chickweed and plantain. You could put them together. I kind of like both of those herbs. A lot of my salves, I really just like to leave them the single herb. You can find mixtures, and I do have some that are like all kinds of different plants, but there's something like really nice about just having the one plant in the salve. If you haven't made that, I do have some videos on making salves, but you do want to dry your herbs, so you gather them up. Easiest way would probably be paper bags. You put your herbs in the paper bag. You have to shake the bag every day. When the leaves are dry, put them in ball jars, close the lid, label it, put it in a cabinet, and then we usually make our salves when it's cold weather, because in the summer you can use everything so fresh, but on a rainy day in the summer, everyone's always working outside, you can make your salves with your saved herbs. All right. Who has violets, the little wild violets growing?
Oh, I have some.
They're up right now.
Take a walk through.
So these are great edible flowers to dress your salads with. And the main way that I like to use violets is for the throat. It really opens the throat. It's a specific herb for, and when I say opens, like sore throats or tightness in the throat. Like some people like have like their voice is tight or not projecting well. It helps to open up, I guess, the muscles, relax the muscles in the throat. So picking this and drying it, they really shrivel down. I usually pick enough to make like a glycerite, which is an extract, because I usually don't have enough to have like any kind of volume of tea. Of course you can order it, but this is one of the plants. Some of these spring plants I don't like to order. I just like to pick and make medicine from what I have in my own yard. But they don't last very long. So if you have any, pick them now, look for them. And when I say to make a glycerite, it is putting the flowers in a jar, and you use vegetable glycerin, which can be purchased at a health food store or online, and you pour it over. And just like you would make an alcohol extract, you're using the vegetable glycerin to extract the properties from the plant. And then it's this like sweet kind of almost syrupy extract with the violets, the essence of the violet.
I think I've seen that with dandelions too, with the oil in jars.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops.